Hello everyone. Welcome to this online experience day of the University College Twente. My name is Mieke Boon and I am the Dean of the University College Twente. What is a university college? In the Netherlands, there are 9 university colleges at the University of Utrecht, Leiden, Amsterdam, Groningen, Tilburg, Maastricht, the Erasmus University, the UC Roosevelt, and here at the University of Twente. University colleges offer honors bachelor programs in liberal arts and sciences. The University College Twente is unique among other university colleges in the Netherlands because it extends your education in liberal arts and science with technology. The Honours Bachelor of Science, the BSc program at the University College Twente, UCT, is therefore called Atlas, which means Academy of Technology, Liberal Arts and Sciences. Students enrolled in the UCT Atlas Bachelor program are typically highly motivated and multi-talented people interested in contributing to today's complex societal issues. Problems such as climate change, sustainability, the energy transition, cybersecurity, poverty, inequality, safety and health, and also the challenges to find solutions for these problems in different organizational settings. For example, in companies, local governments, NGOs, and advisory bodies. These societal problems usually require technological solutions, but technology alone is not enough and can even be very dangerous. Nuclear energy, for example, could be a solution to reduce carbon dioxide emissions, but it generates hazardous waste for which we do not have safe solutions. Technological solutions also need to be embedded in society. You all know about the NIMBY problem. Citizens are in favor of clean wind energy, but people do not want a wind turbine nearby. This means that when you think you have come up with a great innovative technological solution, it may turn out that this solution is socially sensible and socially sensitive. Therefore, it is crucial that the development of high-tech solutions goes hand in hand with understanding and engaging with social processes. The University of Twente is a high-tech human touch university that combines science and technology with social sciences. Thus, at this university, we strive for high-tech solutions that take the societal context seriously. In this manner, we want to actively contribute to the grand, complex societal issues of our time. So, suppose you are a highly motivated multi-talent interested in both liberal arts and sciences and in technology. In that case, the UCT Atlas is the right place for you, because we believe in the strengths of young multi-talents who care to create responsible solutions for complex societal issues and create a future worth wanting to have. And you know, there is another reason why UCT Atlas may be the right place for you. Because multi-talents often find it hard to specialize. Should you choose applied physics, chemistry, computer sciences, architecture, civil engineering, biomedical engineering, health sciences, psychology, communication sciences, sociology, political sciences, or management and business. All these topics may interest you and seem relevant to your future. In UCT Atlas, you get the chance to find your own path and passion. We see that in the UCT Atlas Bachelor program, each student develops a unique academic and professional profile. A profile that really suits them that they are passionate about and that prepares them for a master program of their choice. Maybe there's still another reason why UCT Atlas may be the right place for you. Because at UCT Atlas, other students and also the teachers are like you. They are similar to you. They are all highly motivated and multi-talented, but each in their own unique way. You emerged in an inspiring environment and academic community where you learn a lot from and inspire each other. To summarize, we believe that our world needs a new generation of people who care to create responsible solutions and create a future worth wanting. That is why the University College Twente educates highly motivated, multi-talented students who want to lead change. Students choose their own paths, personally coached by one mentor. Not only do they study for knowledge, but also for relevant skills, like building bridges between disciplines, cultures, and opinions. That is what we call interdisciplinarity. While living and learning together at our campus, students work on real-life issues with a special interest in how technology can influence our society in a positive way. So our students are the problem solvers of the future. So assume you consider applying for the UCT Atlas Bachelor program. Would there be a fit? Is UCT Atlas the right place for you? Who are our Atlas students? Who are you? Are you a highly motivated student? Do you want to make the world a better place? Are you an independent and critical thinker? Do you want to make a difference? Do you have a broad interest? Do you like most of the subjects taught at school? Do you not see yourself as a specialist? Are you curious and want to learn a lot? Do you feel challenged by complexity and uncertainty? Are you creative? Are you a problem solver? Are you socially engaged? Do you want to collaborate with others? If at least 6 of these characteristics apply to you, you have a typical UCT Atlas profile. The next question is, who will you become? Well, we do not know, but we can say a few things. Every student is unique and follows their own paths. In 3 years, you will develop your own academic and professional profile. You will develop your unique personal identity. You will acquire a broad range of foundational knowledge in the natural, engineering and social sciences, and also in the humanities, like in philosophy. You will gain ample experience in challenging real-life projects on timely societal issues, and you will become an interdisciplinary designer, researcher, and organizer who can realize creative, well thought out, reliable, and responsible solutions to complex problems. For me, as a Dean of UCT Atlas, to see this happen to you, to every student in the program, gives hope and confidence. It is you people who are going to make an important contribution in this world with all the great challenges we are facing. You are the future, and the UCT Atlas Bachelor program aims to let you develop your talents so that you can contribute with all your passion, commitment and energy to a world worth living in. For now, I wish you lots of inspiration and insights during this online experience day, and it is my pleasure to now introduce you to the Educational Director of the UCT Atlas program, Rita Kizito. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Rita Kizito, the Program Director for Atlas. And as you've heard from our dean, this is really a wonderful program where you follow your own profile and really go into different disciplines, the natural, engineering, and social sciences. What I'm going to talk about now is the program structure. How is this program structured? Well, we have 180 ESAs full-time, but you are only required to fulfill 27 of those each semester. So you might ask, where do the 3 go? The 3 you spend on your personal pursuit. So we really find it very important that you do not only follow a structured program, but you also have some space to follow something that is really important to you. Now, if you look on our slide, there are 6 semesters. So what happens in each semester? In semester 1, which we call orientation and adaptation, you are really just getting introduced to what you need to do. As I said, it is the natural, engineering, and social sciences. We give you a project where you also learn to design something. And then after that, you move on to the second semester. What happens in this semester? This is where you start broadening your studies. And you also really start getting a sense of which direction you want to go. So you start choosing your own electives, but with guidance. And here as well, you are involved in a project. And then, after the second semester, you move on into the third semester. What happens here is that you deepen and broaden your understanding of these disciplines. As Mika said, you are becoming problem solvers. So you must now start to learn how all these disciplines really form or influence whatever you are really trying to search for. Not only that, but they will also help you form your trajectory and become more confident. So in this third semester, we really support you with your research because we want you to deepen your knowledge on how to investigate in 1 or 2 disciplines. After semester 3, you move on to semester 4. If you see the title of this semester, we call it expertise and integration. You have by now you should have really developed everything from first, second, and third, and you are becoming more confident in an area or several areas. So what happens in semester 5, you now learn to integrate all these elements together. But it is also important here that you learn how to work with others outside your sphere of influence. And that means you not only concentrate on what is going on academically, but you also really work with potential stakeholders outside of the academic area to help you refine your trajectory, but also deepen your skills of really working in this program. And then what happens after that? This is a wonderful opportunity you have in semester 5. You go away. So we allow you to choose some institution other than UT, where you even go and explore what is happening in those other institutions. But we support you in making sure that you keep to your trajectory. So you remember, you have this trajectory and a profile to follow, but you are also being exposed to what is happening in other institutions. And then lastly, you come back to semester 6. This is the signature and celebration. Our expectation is that you should have learned everything from semester 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, And now it's the time to really reflect and think back of how you've developed. And you do this by developing a capstone project. By the way, these capstone projects that have been produced by our students are fantastic. And I think some of them have even really developed and gone on to other areas in other wonderful universities. And our alumni are really an expression of what it is that we have been doing. So let me recap again. You orient, you broaden, you explore, you integrate, you go away, and then you come back and really celebrate your learning at the end of this program. I hope you really enjoy engaging with us. And I really believe this program is a wonderful and exceptional opportunity for you to be with us. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Pascal Wilhelm. I'm a social science lecturer in the UCT Atlas program. I'm also involved in guiding students in their self-directed learning process in the program. Self-directed learning is the educational approach the program has adopted. In this part of the presentation, I will explain you what it means for you as a student. First, what is SDL, or self-directed learning? Well, in SDL, students take the initiative in diagnosing their learning needs, formulating learning goals, identifying resources for learning, choosing and implementing appropriate learning strategies, and evaluating learning outcomes. Basically, it means that you shape your own program. You build your own academic and professional profile as a future problem solver. To a great extent, you decide, based on your interests, what you want to learn and how. You're also behind the steering wheel when it concerns your assessment. You evaluate your own learning outcomes and present your evaluation to the UCT Atlas assessor meeting. But okay, so why this self-directed learning? Why do we work this way? Well, not only do we think that this approach is good for student learning, we also believe that being self-directed should be part of the attributes of Atlas graduates. Atlas graduates learn to take and maintain a firm position in multi-dimensional problems. They have the ability to build bridges in a team of experts from a variety of scientific and engineering fields. Operating in a constantly changing world, Atlas graduates are agile and have an open, independent and critical attitude and are lifelong self-directed learners. In order to become self-directed, we based our program entirely on the self-directed learning educational approach. In this way, we help you develop this important attribute. So, how does it work in practice? How can Atlas students build their own academic and professional profile as future problem solvers and still all get the same degree? Well, the answer lies in the semester goals. The UCT Atlas program is a goal-focused program. Instead of following a fixed set of courses, all students need to attain a fixed set of goals each semester in order to meet the bachelor requirements. Here's the secret. The goals can be attained in different ways, and this allows every student to build their own unique profile. So, how you attain the goals is what makes you unique as a future problem solver. To make this happen, you first need to write a personal development plan, a PDP, each semester. In this plan, you explain how you intend to prove that you reach the semester goals. As proof, you need evidence. And evidence basically is academic work. For example, an assignment, a report, a test you take, or a presentation you give, with feedback from an academic expert. This plan needs approval. And this approval safeguards that you will be able to meet the goals and, in the end, meet the bachelor requirements. If your plan is approved, you start working. For example, you follow courses that you picked yourself and work on producing the evidence you planned for in your PDP to meet the semester goals. Halfway the semester, you evaluate yourself how your plan is coming together. The program will look at your progress and give you feedback and advice. Are you on track? Or do you need to step up a bit to reach the goals? At the end of the semester, you write a so-called self-evaluation report, an SER, in which you explain how you reached your goals. If you manage to successfully execute your plan, you pass the semester. Well, now take a look at this visualization of the learning process I just described. You start with a PDP, which needs approval. Then you start working on learning activities to produce the evidence planned for in your PDP. Halfway, you evaluate your progress and adapt your plan, if necessary, in an updated PDP. Towards the end of the semester, you write your SER, which is then assessed and leads to a verdict. Throughout this process, your mentor or academic advisor is your guide. He or she can advise in making greater choices, your planning, or your learning strategy. As an example, take a look at these semester goals for semester 1. They are depicted here. As you can see, they are broadly formulated, and this enables you to attain them in your own unique way, thereby building your own academic and professional profile. So, in summary, you create your own academic and professional profile. You focus on attaining UCT Atlas goals in your own way. You make a plan that needs approval. You start executing your plan, evaluating your progress halfway each semester in the MTE, and at the end of the semester in your SER. You self-evaluate whether you reach the goals and reflect on your learning in your SER. Then your self-evaluation is the starting point of the semester assessment. The program will check whether your self-evaluation can be justified and will give you feedback on your learning process. So, I hope this was clear to you. It might feel quite different from your current school experience, but you will learn to appreciate it over time, I'm sure. Becoming self-directed is also considered important for working in teams, because collaboration is also about taking responsibility and showing initiative. Teamwork in UCT Atlas is trained in semester projects, to which we now will turn.
Hi, my name is Margot, and I am a lecturer in Ethics and Philosophy of Technology at University College Twente. Today I'm going to tell you a bit more about Challange and project-based learning, the educational frameworks that shape our semester projects. Starting from semester 1 and up to semester 4, this is during the first 2 years of the program, students work in teams towards research topics and socio-technical challenges that matter. But what do I mean by this? We are living in complex times where science and technology can definitely help us solve many of the challenges we face. However, many of these have also been caused by the technologies we have developed. How could this happen? But more importantly, how can we change the story? We aim to change the story with education that is meaningful for the times that we live in. That is why, in semester projects, students focus on research topics that envision purposeful scientific research and on real-world challenges that inspire them to make a positive impact in the world. In a nutshell, we aim to bridge the gap between academia and society. Within our learning community, teachers and students are committed to mobilize our skills, knowledge, and expertise towards a more responsible future. As you can imagine, working on complex challenges is something that cannot be done by one single discipline or an isolated science. This is why we are required to think outside the box and to combine all available resources and, when possible, to reach out to society, NGOs, institutions, the government, and other stakeholders that may help us get a better grip of the problem. For this reason, within semester projects, we provide an educational structure that will enable you to research, analyze, and ideate solutions that are sustainable for the environment, respectful for the human communities and the animals, and also economically viable. Project and challenge-based learning constitute an educational experience where teamwork, 21st century skills, and interdisciplinary knowledge are required to critically explore and understand the issues at hand. Ranging from responsible design thinking all the way to theatrical role-play simulation, as well as in-depth research to spatiotemporal modeling of wicked challenges, semester projects gradually lead students towards becoming capable and innovative engineers that understand the different factors and values at stake. While working in a team that is driven by a diversity of students with different passions and ambitions, you will also experience what is it like to be a self-directed learner, since you will be able to deepen on topics that spark your curiosity and to take up on different roles that are required to manage a complex process and project. At this point in your life, you might not be exactly sure of which direction to go in your academic path, and that is perfectly fine. At University College Twente, you will be encouraged to explore the possibilities that are relevant for you, to explore the topics that you can care about and that spark your curiosity, so that you slowly but surely start discovering who you are and how you want to connect to the world. Our efforts as a college are joining a worldwide movement towards responsible research and innovation of science and technology, and you are invited to become part of the change. In a nutshell, challenge and project-based learning are two frameworks that enable you to work on meaningful topics at the intersection of society and technology. Your learning needs will be identified by you and your team. You will be able to explore diversity of fields, roles, and disciplines within projects. You will have the chance to participate in a diverse, exciting, and supportive learning community, where you will develop different skills and competencies that are needed to understand real-world challenges. Furthermore, you will be encouraged to combine interdisciplinary fields of knowledge to ideate the best solution possible. In sum, you will become a professional that is prepared to make a positive impact in the world. We hope to see you in the Q&As. Please stick around. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine. I'm a third-year student at the University College Twente. And yeah, you should have just seen the video introduction of our program and a bit about what it's about. So feel free to move to the questions tab and ask us anything you have questions about. Could be anything really. As you can see, joining me here on screen are a couple of other people who can help answer these questions that you might have. So perhaps while we wait for some questions to come in, everyone can go around and introduce themselves. So perhaps let's start with Kyla, and then she'll name someone else we can move on to.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kyla, a second-year student at UCT. Currently, I'm still working on figuring out my academic profile, as I like a lot of stuff, and I'm very happy to do a lot of different things here and explore all of my interests and curiosities. Yeah, that's about it. Robin, would you like to introduce yourself next?
Yes, of course. Hi, everyone. My name is Robin Ross. I'm a third-year student at University College Twente. My academic profile is water management, but I also have an interest in international politics. So I'm trying to combine those as well. An opportunity that I've been able to do at UCT and within the Atlas program. So now let's meet one of the teachers. Pascal, maybe you would like to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Robin. My name is Pascal Wilhelm. I'm a social science lecturer in the UCT Atlas program. But usually teachers in Atlas have various roles. So I'm also an academic advisor / mentor, part of the admission boards. And I'm also involved in guiding students in their self-directed learning process. So what about you, Margot?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. As Pascal just mentioned, I also play a couple of roles within the program. Perhaps I should highlight that I am at the moment coordinating semester 1 project along with a colleague of mine who is not here, Kishore Sivakumar. and I'm also a lecturer in ethics and philosophy of technology. I'm an academic advisor myself, / mentor, as you've already heard. And I'm also involved in other cool stuff that we are developing along with students, which is what I love most about my job. That is co-creation in an exciting community. I would like to give the word now to Rita Quisito, our program director.
Hi, you're welcome. My name is Rita Quisito, the program director, and I really am here to take care of everybody and make sure everything happens well from an educational point of view. And we're so happy to have you join us or think about joining us in the future. I think I over now hand down to Mika.
Thank you, Rita. Yes, welcome everyone. I'm Mika Boon, the Dean of UCT Atlas, and I'm a chemical engineer by training. I've been working in mining industry, and I'm a philosopher of science, which is my second specialization. In Atlas, I have played several roles as teachers, and currently I'm the Dean of this wonderful education. And as I told in the video, I think that that UCT is offering a very new kind of education to really prepare you for a future that needs people like you and that we educate for.
Thank you everyone for introducing yourselves. So I think we can pop on over to the questions now. So our first question is speaking about admissions specifically, and they ask, what are the requirements from the British system? Which maybe we can answer, but also perhaps we can provide you with the email for our admissions officer, which can get you a specific answer. But also a more vague question saying, what is the difference between Atlas and a Bachelor of Engineering? So perhaps Pascal, you have a bit of experience with admissions, but also you know Atlas well. Maybe you can start us off.
Yes, well, I just saw the question, but there are some terms that I don't quite understand. But in general, to to learn if you are admissible, it's best to just go via what we call the study link system, and then on a UT level, first we sort of check whether you meet the requirements, and if that's the case, then you enter our admission procedure. So that's the most simple answer. So it's difficult to say for a specific system to say like, okay, you can be admitted or not. We really need to do that the general check, and I hope that is a sufficient answer for now.
Yeah.
Can I also add here?
Sure, go ahead, Rita.
Yeah. Yes, the Bachelor of Engineering, and thank you, Pascal, is very structured. So you take particular courses in a particular order. What we do in Atlas, we let you choose your own trajectory. If you really, if you maybe go back to what we were saying. So you might gravitate towards engineering, but not in a very specific, very calculated procedure that is usually used in a Bachelor of Engineering. But that doesn't stop you from becoming the new engineer, which we're looking for. Because as a problem solver, you will then be able to select other courses other than engineering. And that is where the difference comes in. Here you can select your own trajectory. In the other one, there is a formatted, designed trajectory which you have to follow. I hope that answers your questions a bit. Mm.
Yeah, and if you need clarification on any of our answers, go ahead. You can also drop them in the questions tab or in the chat. We will get around to them. So perhaps we can speak to one of our students here. So someone has asked, what is your most favorite and least favorite thing about Atlas? And what made you choose Atlas in the beginning? So perhaps we can hear from Robin and then maybe Kyla.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to start with the second question first, why I chose Atlas, and that's because I was very interested in university colleges and the liberal arts educational concept. because coming out of secondary school, I had a broad set of interests and ambitions, and I realized that a regular program would not be able to satisfy those. So that's when I started to look at liberal arts degrees in the Netherlands, and visited various university colleges. But for me, UCT, so University College Twente, was the best fit, not only because it felt good, the community is great, and I really feel at ease in this college, but also with that extra focus on technology and the project-based learning that flows throughout the program. So that's what made me choose the Atlas program specifically. One of my favorite parts, I would say, as cliche as it sounds, the people. I think we have such a great community here in the college, and it makes studying so much better, especially, well, almost in each stage of the program, really, where in the first semester, everyone's taking the same courses, so you can support each other. We're a residential college, so you live and work together, which is also quite unique. And then as you go on, you get to meet all these interesting people who do all sorts of different things, and you can really support and learn from each other. So that's something I really appreciate about UCT. And, well, to be honest, of course, something that I don't really like, my least favorite part, is the fact that there is still quite a lot of choice to be made. And I mean, we're given very extensive course lists to select courses from, and there's only so much you can do. So you're forced to make decisions and plan ahead. I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes the level of choice can be a bit overwhelming. So yeah. And so let's say the time is limited to do all the things that you might want to do.
Yeah, thanks, Robin. And maybe now from Kyla.
Well, I must say that I completely agree with Robin's last argument, that the most difficult thing is to make the decisions in the end, because there are so many nice and fun things you can do, and you only have a limited amount of time, and that's definitely the hardest thing for me. If possible, I would stay here for another 5 years and do whatever course I want. But that's not possible, sadly. And I also want to move on at some point. Well, for me, my most favorite thing is just working and learning with a community, with people that are just as motivated, that want to learn so many different things on so many different levels as well, that help me with my learning, but I can also help them with their learning. And it's just a great opportunity for me. And why I chose for Atlas? Well, because I made the conscious decision to not just yet decide on what I wanted to do. I really wanted to give myself some more time and some more information before I wanted to make a final decision on what I really liked. And I felt like I was not that far yet, so I decided to go for UCT, so I could actually learn more, see more, figure out what particular domains in university look like, so I could make a more and well-informed decision.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so while we have, I think, generally given an answer about a question we've received, which is how does the technology part that we include in Atlas compare to other liberal arts studies around the country? We did give a general answer for this in the chat, but does anyone want to expand upon this? Maybe Mika or Rita or Margot even?
Yeah, sure thing. I could say a couple of words. So as our dean already mentioned, there are quite some colleges in the Netherlands. But what makes us special, in contrast to the others, is that we are a technical university. So the choices, the opportunities that you will find here when it comes to literally state-of-the-art high technology is one of the best in the country, and I might even say in Europe. So I think that the combination that we can offer for a comprehensive curricula that involves social sciences, natural sciences, and state-of-the-art research in tech is one of the most competitive you will have. So of course, if your interests are about technology and of course how to use technology in a responsible manner, yeah, I think you are at the good place. That would be it from my side.
Yeah, and Tamika, maybe?
Yes, maybe to add there. So the structure of the UCT program fits to what the University of Twente is. So to continue on what Margot says, so we have two directions at this university, and that is why it's also called a high-tech human touch university. So the technical faculties with the technical sciences or engineering sciences, as we call them, are very strong, and they are also very good at connecting to real societal issues like energy and sustainability and all kinds of civil engineering problems, poverty. AI is, of course, and computer sciences is a very strong department. And so there are all these bachelor programs that are very focused on a certain technological object. And the other pillar of our university is the social sciences. And so in the social sciences, all kinds of societal processes are investigated. And what may be interesting for you, because I had to learn that about it, so I came from an engineering science background, is that also social sciences think about how they can affect certain societal processes. For instance, in the communication of the current energy transition, which is societally very difficult, but also more the more humanities part, like political sciences, and you see also business sciences if you want to become an entrepreneur. So it's a very broad range of topics that can be very important if you want to engage in a practical way also, but also scientific way with all kinds of societal complex problems.
Yeah, thanks, Vika. Robin, I think, has something to add.
So if there's time for me to also, I mean, we're talking about courses and course choices, and something that I also like about the way that our program is set up in comparison to other university colleges in the Netherlands is that most of the courses are outsourced. So what this means is that rather than having all of these courses offered in-house, so you're just sitting with students from the university college and from the program, you actually take the courses with the respective faculties and the respective bachelor students, which means that you get the opportunity to meet students who are doing these programs, but also get immersed in their academic culture. So if I give you a personal example, I take courses related to water management, both bachelor level and master level, say in the civil engineering faculty. And I get to meet the civil engineers and really the top end of the professors of those research groups who are involved with that teaching. So rather than keeping everything in-house and isolated, almost bubble-like, we are encouraged, almost forced, to go out and explore these different fields, different faculties, different programs. And that's something that I also really like and appreciate, and something that I've actually gone to appreciate more than I would have expected when choosing for this college.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Okay, so we have another question. Someone is asking, if you're not someone who takes initiative from nature, would that be a problem? Will you learn this, or when? So this is, again, kind of an admissions question. Pascal, maybe you can talk about the admissions process and then the supplements you can do if you
Yeah. So you're referring to Lyra's Young and Ales questions, right? Yeah. So it's not. I think it's the way I understand the question. It's not really about admissions, but it's more about how you should engage in this program. So this program sort of is goal focused, and that means that each student has to attain a certain set of goals each semester, and then that also requires you to make many curricular choices. So there's a choice-making process at the outset of each semester, and then in general, sorry, taking initiative is important there. So and that's something that is let's say
parents in each semester. So you need to make choices, and it also means you need to take the initiative. But you're not alone in this. I mean, you're doing that with all your fellow students, of course. Everyone is in the same boat, basically, and you're also being supported in this by your mentor or your academic advisor. And what I've seen over the years, that I mean, most students that come into the program are used to having, you know, a certain study structure presented to them, you know, like in high school. And in Atlas, we turn it around. So you really need to impose your own structure on, you know, on the Atlas program. So so what I've seen is that students will learn over time to take the initiative, because if they don't, then nothing will happen. Of course, if you don't move, then we start to move, and we will reach out to you and help you in making these choices. But I'm confident that every student, you know, in the course of the program will learn how to take the initiative. So the answer, I think, is yes to your question.
Yes. And just to add on that, in case what you want to choose is not available in the UT environment, we allow you to go online. So you can take courses, maybe about nature, which are not within our midst, or which are in a different language, but you are also allowed to take courses from universities other than ourselves. So I think we would really be able to support you if your really interest was in nature.
Does that answer your question, Lara?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I think we've answered all of the questions that have been answered in the chat so far. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask them. But perhaps yes, Kyla. Oh, you're muted, Kyla.
Oh, there we go. Sorry. Maybe we can elaborate a bit more on what our schedule looks like, because I think that was a good question. And indeed, Robin and I, maybe you and yourself, Catherine, can give some examples of what a typical schedule looks like. And also, of course, the teachers, lecturers have an idea, since they're teaching here and walking around every day. But for example, for me, I have about 2 days full of lectures combined. So that means, for example, Monday morning, I have the entire morning full of lectures. Then on Thursday, I have a full afternoon of lectures, Friday morning. So in the end, I would say I have about 16 to 20 contact hours per week. That's also because I actually decided on a lot of courses that have a lot of contact hours. And that is for me very helpful, since I really enjoy the contact with professors, and I find it more challenging. But for other people, they decide on courses that are more online, so they have less contact hours. Of course, in the first semester, it's a bit different, because there the program is more set for you. So during the first semester, the contact hours can be a bit different. Maybe Pascal, Margot can elaborate on that a bit more.
Sure, I can say a couple of words. So as Kyla just mentioned, semester 1 is already pre-structured. So your concern, Leila, can also be answered perhaps in this way. So we do not expect you to have a clear-cut vision of what is it that you need to do, or how much choices you need to do right after you join us, because of course this is a skill that you have to develop. And yeah, practice makes the master. So as you go through the process, through the program, you will get more acquainted with your interests, and also with what relevant choices there are for you. In semester 1, you have like the basics for the whole semester, which are natural sciences, including fluids and heat, Newtonian mechanics, social sciences, math, of course, and the semester project, just to give you an idea of how it starts. Then as you go further, there will be, of course, some basic structure, but then you will start making choices about what electives you want to follow depending on your interests. And of course, your interests will change depending on all the input that you receive, all the new connections that you make, and all the interesting chats that you will have when, starting to get yourself across the community. So it doesn't, how can I say this? Like, don't get too scared if you don't feel ready to make all these important choices, because of course you are quite young and we don't expect you to have it all figured out. Like, we're here for you and as a community ready to support you in this journey.
I add on to the discussion about scheduling and people's programs, because there are two things I would like to mention. First of all, as maybe cheesy as it sounds, no one really has a typical schedule, because in the college and in our community, people are also encouraged to go almost above and beyond with their time. So we have the academic program, which indeed we've heard about in the first semester. It's all set, and as you move through, it changes per person. But then most of our students are also very active within the community. They join numerous committees, they do board years, they do extra projects on the side. So that's another way in which you can shape your time in the college. So that means that sometimes people work for 40 hours a week, but sometimes it can be a lot more depending on what they do. But that's also something that gives us all energy and makes it rewarding and allows us to create the environment and the time that we would like to have whilst we're in the college. So that's the first thing I wanted to elaborate upon. And secondly, what I think is also interesting is as you go along with your own profile, or whether you're exploring or whether you have a clear direction, you're going to take different types of courses. And that's also a valuable experience. So you can take courses where you have 3 very interactive lectures every week, where it's very discussion centered, high expectations of you to prepare and to arrive at these lectures and participate. But I've also taken courses where you have 1 lecture a week. There are 200 people in the lecture hall. You take notes, then you go home and do exercises, and at the end of the time you sit an exam. So it's opposite sides of the extreme, but that also allows you to discover what works for you, what you like, and again, experience many different types and forms of education, and with it, different programs and contact hours. I hope that clarifies it a bit more as well.
Yeah, definitely. We may have another question coming in, but for the moment being, he is still typing. But perhaps we can talk about one of the unique aspects that we're a residential college. So maybe again, a student would like to talk about it. We also have just gotten a question, so perhaps we can start with that. So Marcus said, given that you develop your own program, how do you ensure that the bachelor's obtains feeds into a master's with their eligibility criteria? So yes, indeed, this is a great question. Does anyone specifically want to answer, or should I throw it to a student or a teacher?
Yeah, I can try to do that if
Sure,
I may.
Pascal, please. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's indeed one of the most let's say also the question that I had when we started with this program. So how can we, how can we pull that off, to allow students to eventually follow the master of their choice? Well, I mean, what happens, what I see happening in practice is that at a certain moment, that happens around, towards the end of the second year and especially in the third year, then students will start thinking about, what they want to do after their bachelor's. And most of them want to pursue with a master's program. There are also students that will take a gap year first, but most of them want to go into a master program. And the setup of each semester not only allows you to build up your own profile, but also work on, let's say, make sure that the requirements that are needed to enter a master program can also be met in that time. So and this is because students are, let's say, motivated or stimulated to think about their direction in each semester, and of course at a certain moment they also want to think about what they want to do after Atlas. So there's also start thinking about that. And what I see happening is that most students then will start orienting on master programs, will then check what kind of requirements are needed in order to enter the master program, and we'll work on those requirements in the context of the semesters. And I think in more than, I think there's I don't remember the numbers, but most of the students then are able then to meet requirements and can then after the Atlas just enter the master program of their choice. Yeah, but maybe for example, Robin, can you give a concrete example of how you are already working on this? Maybe that makes more concrete for Marcus.
Of course. So as a third year, choosing a master's program is important and something that is one of my focuses for this year to make sure that I get where I want to be. So indeed, it's for me, my profile started to take shape, I would say roughly halfway through the second year. And then I could start looking for master's programs that interested me and that I thought, okay, I could see myself doing this. And then indeed checking the requirements, but also setting up meetings with their admission boards and just talking to them and saying, you know, listen, this is my bachelor's degree. This is what it's going to look like. Would I be eligible to apply? And these aren't small universities that I'm talking about. It's not like you just flow on in the UT, because let's make it clear, there is no successive master program. So for myself, I'm trying to leave the UT and go to a different university where they have not necessarily heard of this program. And in some cases, it's very clear, and they say, yes, your profile is very well suited. The educational background that you come from is very well suited to our program as well. The way you think, the way you've been taught with all the projects and the multidisciplinarity is very beneficial. And in other cases, they'll say, yes, but make sure that you have enough credits in the engineering department so that you have the knowledge that is required to be able to take the courses. And that then helped me choose the courses that I wanted to take. So it's definitely something that students are aware of, and it's part of the planning, but it can also help you to choose your courses if you know the general direction that you would like to head into.
Yes. And from an accreditation point of view, we are set up as an honors program. So we ensure that we go to the depth and scope of what is required in honors. In the Netherlands, if you see, there are some programs which are just plain bachelors, but Atlas is set up to really work on an honors level. And that is why, as Pascal said, when you achieve those goals, we are always asking those questions. Is this individual really able to function at an honors level? And the reason we do that is to ensure that you are at a level which will allow you to go into masters when you finish engaging with us.
Does this answer your question, Marcus?
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good to read.
Yeah.
Maybe I could say a little bit more also about profiles of students, because that may still sound a little bit vague of what is a profile. And Pascal has been talking about the personal development plan and then the self-evaluation at the end. And so what students are asked in their program development plan is that they every semester are asked, well, what is the profile into which you are developing? And we often see that it starts with students not knowing or having a clear idea of where they want to go, and then that's over time develops further. And so at the end of these 3 years, students have a clearer profile. For instance, I have here a list in front of me of students who have an academic profile in what they then call, they make up their own names often, in sustainability engineering. But when you look at what the student has done, so they create, say, their own profile, in this case, the sustainability engineering. And when you look at the courses and the projects that the students have done, that covers a very wide range and very specific for every student. So for instance, in this sustainability engineering, the student has taken machine learning, She has taken history and technology of society. She has taken construction technology and structural planning, energy, sustainability and society. So it is a beautiful range of all kinds of topics by which she has created that profile. I also, there's another interesting one, and it is a broad range. It goes in artificial intelligence, in civil engineering, in medical engineering. So this student, for instance, has a profile what he calls in mathematical biology. And so he has studied biomedical signals and systems, bioinformatics, machine learning, biodata, mathematical methods a lot, ethics also. So you see that to get to a profile which also allows you to a master program can go in many different ways, and students then form their own idea of what they are at the end.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, thank you for that explanation, Mika. I think it really helped kind of give an overview of what developing a profile is like. Yeah, so indeed, I think we, again, have answered all of the questions from the chat in the questions tab. We have a couple of topics we can just talk about if there are no more questions. Yes, one of them being the fact that we are a residential college. So perhaps Kyla or Robin could share a fun memory or experience from being able to live and work with your peers in the same space.
Yes, I can of course share a nice experience. So for the past year, I have lived with all of my peers in one house, basically above our academic building, and it has been a lot of fun. Not only because you can always work together and knock on each other's doors, like, "Hey, can you help me out with this?" or "Can you read this essay I'm writing?" But it's also fun to meet so many different cultures and people from diverse backgrounds. So, for example, the time at which we have dinner caused some heavy discussions. Is it 6 or is it 9? What is normal? But we've also had many discussions about our educational backgrounds. What do we think works best? And how does that relate to how we are shaping our own education here every day? But it also gives the perfect opportunity and environment to give each other feedback. After living so long with each other, you're super comfortable around each other and able to help each other out on a personal and academic level. So I really, really enjoyed it. And it's a great learning opportunity and a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I agree with what Kyla said, and especially the diversity is really interesting. I mean, if I speak for my current situation, I am in a house with 6 people, and we come from 6 different nationalities, from many different continents as well. So I have a housemate from Ireland, a housemate from Germany, from India, Nepal, and America, and then myself. So six people and 6 nationalities. So very diverse, but yet we all have to live together. And we don't work together as much because everyone's branched off in their own direction, as we are all, nearing the end of our time. But still, we have to live together. But that also means being able to tell each other, you didn't clean up, you left it a mess, or who's cooking tonight, and being able to organize yourself like that. I mean, Kyla gave some brilliant examples about giving feedback, but it's also about developing yourself in that way and creating very different relationships with someone. Because yes, we are very close to each other, but at the same time, you also need to be able to live together peacefully and make sure that stuff gets done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and don't forget, Robin, that not only, we as teachers are also part of this community. And at least that's how I experience it. We have our own building, of course, and at least the first years I'll live upstairs, and and downstairs is all our working area. So as a teacher, I feel like we don't have our own, let's say, offices, so we are pretty much living in the same spaces as students are studying and learning in, and it's all wide open space. So I can typically have a day in which I just walk around and address questions students have on the fly. And there are typically very short lines between teachers and students, and we try to involve students in as much as possible into, well, basically everything we do. For example, each semester is sort of led by a semester team, and we try to sort of also include students in those semester teams to hear their side of the of the learning experience we create, and they also are involved in co-creating the learning experience. And I think that is something that because I used to also work in other programs that are more monodisciplinary, and that there was a much more, let's say, there were two super separated worlds more. You had the students on the one side and teacher on the other side. Of course, there were connections, but I mean, let's say the intensity of the intensity of the relationships between students and student teachers atlas is quite high. And I think that's for me that's great, and I also feel that students appreciate it. And I see Robin nodding all the time. So
definitely. Having interpersonal relationships with teachers is very valuable for me as well. Take my academic advisor, for example, who I meet every other week, and we have a chat for about an hour to discuss not only my academic process, but also about me as an individual and developing myself, but also just talking to each other about how we're doing and ways of improving ourselves. And I think that's very valuable as well. But also teachers willing to help you out if you're doing something extra, trying maybe publishing things, and teachers supporting you with that and reviewing you and guiding you through the process, and vice versa as well. So I think it's just it's a two-way street really in the environment that we're in. But of course, at the same time, they do teach us, and they are there to support and guide us in our educational development. But it's very nice to be able to have such good relationships with professors and teachers.
Yeah, and in the process, we also learn, right? So it's Mika Boon often refers to our community being a learning community, and the learning is not only on the student side; it's also on our side. I think I've developed quite rapidly, as a teacher while in my time in Atlas, and way faster than before, I think. And that's also, I think, because of having this community.
Yeah, thank you both. So yes, we are indeed nearing the end of this Q&A session for interested students. So yeah, if you have any remaining questions, please go ahead and type them below, and we'll get to them in these last couple of minutes. But if not, I think a great thing to also talk about, which is very unique to our program, is the personal pursuit. So yeah, again, Sakaida, Robin, perhaps you can tell us about the two personal pursuits you have or will be working on, and we get to hear more from you guys.
Yes. Last year, I did my first personal pursuit, because you're doing one personal pursuit a year. And then I worked on public speaking. So I actually made a handbook for students with tips and tricks on how to improve your public speaking. I also did a few workshops for students so they could improve their public speaking as well. And it has been very useful since I've been giving a lot of presentations lately. So it's very useful, and it was something I really wanted to learn. And this year I am working on acquisition of sponsors, since I do work for our study association, where I'm finding sponsors, and I'm working with other partners on how to find sponsors for your club, association, whatever. So that's what I'm doing this year. And it's just a personal project where I'm trying to really challenge myself to the fullest, really try to learn the things I feel that need more attention, that I can use in my professional life afterwards as well, and work on stuff I find fun as well.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah, then I'll go next. In my first year, I worked on a project centered around Dutch design. So I'm not sure if you're familiar with Gerrit Rietveld and the artistic movement of De Stijl, and well, mainly his iconic red and blue chair. So what I did is I did some art history study into this art movement, something I had never done before, but I was led to that because Mondrian is my favorite painter, and then from one led to the other. So I was able to do some study and background into these artists and what they designed, but then I also tried to innovate these iconic designs. So I got an example out. I'm not sure if you can see it because of the background, but this is based on the original. No, that doesn't really work, but it's based on the original chair, but it's an adjusted design in the similar style. And I made about 5 or 6 different models of how the design could be adapted, but remaining true to the original idea, philosophy, and style of the design. So that was more of a creative personal pursuit. And then in my second year, so last year, I worked on a more policy personal pursuit, where together with a group of students from different universities in Europe, I was involved with providing policy advice for the local municipality of Enschede on how to turn their economy more circular focused. So related to sustainability and circular economy, we wrote policy advice and scenarios for the municipality. And these are now being incorporated into their policy, and I think very soon being put forward to the city council. So that's another example of actual real world work that I was able to do.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. Yeah, so it is 2:15 now, which yeah, I think begins our parent session. But I do not know if we have any parents here. So again, if you have any more questions, feel free to type them below and we'll get to them. Yeah, I think Marcus may have another question. We will see. Oh, it's Marcus's mother. Hello, welcome. So she asks, what proportion of applications are accepted? Perhaps, again, this is a question for Pascal or even Mika.
Yeah, so it's well, it's. I mean, we are a small college. That means, but we have room for more. So we have had an influx up until now of about 35 to 50 students per year, but we can accommodate more. So it's not that we had to sort of already reject students because we couldn't take them in anymore. If students are, I mean, we attract students that have a very specific interest in our program, maybe because of its flexibility, but also because of its focus. And when you meet the requirements for doing a technical study at UT, you enter the admission process. And we typically, I mean, up until now, most of the applicants, for example, of last year were admitted, and we didn't have to turn down very many of them. I mean, maybe I did only a few. So if you are really interested in this program and you meet the requirements, there's a high chance you get in.
Yeah, and I think another thing to add is just it's not just are you right for the program, but is the program right for you? And our admissions process really tries to streamline that and make sure that indeed the program is right for you, which leads us to our next question, which was last year there was something on the website called the Insight Day, but it's much harder to find this year. Did it go away, and is there a replacement for it? So yes, indeed, you are correct. Perhaps this is something, Pascal, you can also answer, because yes, you are correct. It did go away.
Yeah. So we used to have Insight Days. It was a full day in which prospective students could sort of engage in the kind of teaching that we do, just to get an experience of the Atlas program. And we decided to not do that this year anymore and replace it by meetings like this and events like this. And but there are other ways to sort of get an idea of what Atlas is all about. For example, by doing a student for a day or something, or by visiting our online open days. But we used to have that. It was those were pretty intense days. But we decided to sort of put our effort more into events like this. And it's of course, I think COVID also played a role there, because all these Insight Days were live.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, like it has been said, you can still sign up for a student for a day, which is definitely going to get you familiar with kind of the day in the life of an Atlas student. So that's something we can definitely recommend. Yeah, any more questions from anyone?
Yeah, maybe on the question of these student for a day, they can just send an email, right, to ask to have a student for a day, Catherine?
Yeah, there's actually a link. I will.
Oh, you will put it up there.
Yeah, sure.
Because you are not a coordinator. Who's the coordinator?
No, I'm not involved with that anymore as I'm a third year. So yeah, we try and have our student for
Lucy's.
Yeah, we try to have our student day for days led by younger students who are more integrated within Atlas still, because like Robin and I, we're third years, so we're not super focused inside the program anymore. We're both doing stuff externally. Yeah, any more questions from anyone? Or any other topics we can still cover for you?
I think what you just discussed is an excellent example of how Atlas students and teachers work together in creating this program. Because, for example, when I do admission interviews, I always do it together with a student. And this year I've worked together with Catherine. And that's, that's pretty. I think it's pretty uncommon to sort of to do that. But we sort of used to that.
Yeah, for sure. Another question just popped up. What does the application process look like specifically? And then what are usually the reasons for rejecting people? Yeah, again, Pascal, I think you can discuss this.
Well, let's say, or rejection, or not being the let's say if there's no fit between the student and the program, that usually is also already tackled at the start. So if you are not don't meet the requirements for entering a technical university in general, there's also some, then already students get rejected there. But when they enter the admission process afterwards, so then we already know that they can be in our university in general. But then we as a college are allowed to select our students. And there can be different reasons for, let's say, advising not to come to Atlas. It's difficult to say. I mean, those reasons can be very broad. Sometimes students for themselves take the decision not to apply. For example, for one case that I have in mind is that our program really heavily calls upon your ability to collaborate. So there's collaboration everywhere, in duos, in trios, in bigger groups. And I've known students that sort of realized that they weren't quite into that. They preferred more to study by themselves and wanted to avoid working together too much. So that could be a reason for them not to choose for Atlas. So that's one example. But I must say the reasons for turning down people are pretty diverse. So it's difficult to give you one example. But last years we haven't turned down many students. Because students already choose for this program in a very deliberate way. So there usually is I think the chances. If I look back on the last year, and also look to Catherine now, I think most of the students already felt like a good fit to the community.
Yes.
Yes. I would say that's true.
Yes. And you always have to satisfy, obviously, entry into the university requirements. We are not extinct from that. And one other thing we are trying to do is to make, because mathematics was a challenge, we have introduced a package where those who are not really proficient in mathematics are given some allowance. So that was an area where most universities struggle, but we've introduced a package just to make sure that even if you are not really proficient in mathematics, we do have a package for you. So please come and join us and we will support you.
Yeah, to come back to the first question of Jet, because I only addressed the second one, I see now. So the application process is like a two-step process. So first we need to check whether you can be admitted to the university in general, because we are a technical university. So that's the first step, and you do that via the study link route. Then you enter our admission process, and in order to enter that, you have to write a motivation letter, write your CV, and then I mean a transcript of your performance in high school, for example. Well, then the admission board, which I'm a part, will read that, and then we'll plan an interview with you. And based on the interview and all the documents that you uploaded by then, we will make a decision. And that, and then if the decision is yes, we will offer you a letter of admission, and that you can then accept or not. That's how it works, and it usually takes like I think in 2 weeks, then you know if you can be admitted or not. Does that answer your question yet?
Oh, good. Yes, any other questions we can answer?
I think Marcus was still typing, but maybe not now. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Is there a specific period for the interviews, or do they come as you apply? Yeah, so as long as you meet the deadlines for applications, we will make sure you get an interview. And yeah, so once you apply, you will get allocated a time for your interview. Yes. Anything else? Oh yeah, that's a great point. So Robin has just sent a link in the chat, and you can take a look at all of the courses that are offered by the University of Twente. So yeah, as students, we can probably all speak about this as well, but you are pretty much able to do whichever electives from whichever faculty, as long as you meet the entry requirements. Yeah, I don't know if Kyla or Robin wants to speak about, I don't know, certain experiences with different courses from faculties, but yeah, indeed, you can really kind of pick from whatever is available. Not even just at the UT, but also abroad in other places is still possible if you're interested.
Yeah, I can explain a bit of how this process went for me. For example, I just wanted to know a bit more about management, so I started looking for management-related courses, and then I actually ended up with a master's course, but with a teacher that was very, very willing to help me and support me, because I did not necessarily have all of the pre-knowledge, but the teacher was able to send me some materials that I could prepare. So I could eventually take the course, and during the course, she's also been checking up on me. Like, hey, how are you doing? Do you need any additional help? And that's been really helpful and really nice. And she also forwarded me some other courses that I might be interested in as well. So overall, I experienced it as super helpful and super nice. And also the platform in general just works great for me, because I type in some keywords and then I think, oh, I want to do this and I like this. And then just some courses pop up. I get in contact with the right people, or ask maybe any of my teachers if they already know someone that can help me out. And that's how I usually find courses that I like. And most of the times it just works out. And otherwise, there's always a teacher walking around that can help me out in any other way.
Follow through on one of the things that Kyla mentioned about doing master's courses, because that's also something that's quite unique within our program, is that you can select courses from both bachelor level and master level, with the advantage of master courses often being more focused and specific. So if you get a good idea or understanding of what it is you would like to do, then sometimes choosing a master's course is more beneficial to you. And I remember the first time that I did a master's course, I was a bit worried. It was a bit daunting because, well, here I was. I think at the time I was second year bachelor doing a second year master course. But there was someone else who did it together. And in the end, we were one of the top scoring projects. So just coming from a bachelor degree doesn't really matter. because since then I've done other master's courses as well. And again, we saw that the Atlas students coming as bachelors did as well, if not better than those in the master's degree themselves. So if you're looking through those courses and you see, oh, it's a master's course, don't let that stop you, because those possibilities are there. And quite often, if you're passionate enough about it, you'll do very well in these courses as well.
And how would you explain it, Robin?
My guess is because we were really motivated, because we chose the course. And I think that's something that's also maybe good to point out, is that if you're in a regular program, sometimes you'll take courses that you don't really find interesting, but you just have to take them because they're part of the regular program. But in our case, when we did decide to do this master's course, it was a deliberate decision. We knew we were going to take a master's course. It was 5 credits, so quite a big course as well to take. So we knew what we were signing up for. We were enthusiastic and motivated to do well. So I think that's what helped as well. Just a different mindset of, we're here by choice. We're really happy that we were allowed to take this course. We've been accepted into this course. So now let's make the most of it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks, Robin.
Yeah, and from Kyla?
Yeah, and next to that, of course, what I also experienced is that you learn a lot of valuable skills. For example, I really learned how to dive into a new topic really quickly over the past year while being here, but also looking at stuff from different and critical perspectives, which really helped me to do maybe more difficult courses and really have a head start, because I was more critical and because I could really get acquainted with the topic very easily. And of course, the motivation and dedication to learn something was really helpful. And that's why I think we sometimes might even perform better.
Yeah, certainly. I think that is a general shared experience by most Atlas students. Yes, so indeed, we are, I think, reaching the end of our session. If there are no more questions, we don't necessarily have any more information to offer you. Of course, if you have more questions, even after the session, feel free to email us. We are willing to help with whatever we can. Yes, does anyone have any other closing remarks or anything else they would like to share?
Yeah, I would like to thank all the students that joined in here. And I wish you lots of wisdom and insights to make your decision about what you will choose and to decide whether you fit Atlas, whether you want to get into the admission process. I'd also like to thank all the people here on the screen, Catherine, Kyla, Margot, Pascal, Robin, and Rita, for their contributions this afternoon. I think it was valuable to hear all this. So thanks all, and for now, enjoy your weekend and be happy.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
For coming, and hope to see you soon here in the college.
Oh, we are in the college. Okay, bye.